Chapter 383, Soul Transformation Pill and Demon City. This was worse than killing him. Who was he? He was the ruler of a dynasty and was above everyone else. In the entire boundless continent, there were only a handful of people who had a higher status than him. Now, he was reduced to a slave without freedom. How humiliating was that? It was simply a fate worse than death. With his current state, how could he face the officials of the Li nation? It would be better to kill him. Seeing that Emperor Li was like a defeated rooster, Song Shi was in a good mood. Because you dared to act pretentious in front of me, this is the outcome. He turned around and walked towards the pass. He said calmly, I don't have time to talk nonsense with you now. Bring your remaining troops and retreat from Great Qian immediately. Emperor Li moved his lips but could only accept his fate. He lowered his head and said, Yes, master. He lowered his head and faced the huge pit. He could not even see the corpses. He was dejected and smiled bitterly. Remnant army? There aren't many who survived. Our Li nation was actually almost completely wiped out by a single talisman. The entire Li nation suffered a huge blow and it will be difficult to recover even after 1,000 years. Who can believe it? In front of the pass, deep fissures appeared on the ground, and the great avalanche had opened up quite a bit. Most of the mountain peaks where the entire pass was located had been cut off by the aftershocks, leaving only broken city walls that were on the verge of collapse. Song Shi said in surprise, I actually almost killed my own people. Fortunately, there was some buffer distance and the protection of the array formation. His appearance attracted everyone's attention. They looked at him with fear and respect. If these people had to choose a god to worship, it would definitely be this vicious god. In their hearts, the attack just now was too terrifying. It was as if doomsday had arrived. Even if they were alive, they would definitely never forget it for the rest of their lives. They might even start having nightmares from it. Emperor Qian flew out and looked at Song Shi. His expression changed. If he had previously regarded this person as an existence of the same level with his pride as the emperor of a country, even if Song Shi's combat strength was powerful, he had never been too afraid. At this moment, he looked up to him in reverence. With the terrifying methods the other party took out, he was no longer considered an ordinary cultivator of this world. Even if he went to the upper realm, he was definitely not an ordinary person. He swallowed his saliva and said in a dry voice, they were all wiped out. More or less, the trouble here has been resolved in one go. We can go back now. Song Shi nodded. After spending half a month running around the country, he had finally resolved the problem. Now, he could safely guarantee that the 8 countries would behave themselves, especially since he had used the Falling Sun talisman this time. It was likely that all the countries and forces in the entire continent would not dare to provoke him. It was enough to establish a stable environment for his family. As for the possible threat of the demons, he would naturally deal with it without any worries. It's normal. The methods you used were too terrifying. We were almost wiped out here too. Emperor Qian said bitterly. Facing that attack just now, even though he was at the soul transformation realm, he still felt extremely insignificant. Only such a powerful existence could suppress the 8 countries alone. Emperor Li didn't die. I controlled him and turned him into a puppet. I can guarantee that Li country won't be a threat for a short period of time. Song Shi explained the situation. Emperor Qian was stunned for a moment before he laughed. I didn't expect Barbarian Li to be so arrogant yesterday, yet actually ending up like this. He's better off dead. You should be glad that you have a smart and beautiful daughter. Coincidentally, I'm also a Qian citizen. Otherwise, you might have ended up like this after messing with me. Song Shi said meaningfully. Emperor Qian was so frightened that his face stiffened. He laughed dryly and said, Wuxia is indeed worthy of the heavenly spirit eyes. She has a unique vision and took a fancy to my son-in-law in advance, establishing a marriage between our 2 families. Let's not talk anymore. Let's go and take a look at the imperial city. Song Shi sat on the black feathered thunder eagle, whose fur had become charred, and rushed to the imperial city to see what was going on with the spatial passageway. The reason why he valued this matter so much was not because of the Chinese royal family, but because he hoped that his hometown could be stable and peaceful. Only then would he be able to cause trouble and court death outside without worry. As for unifying the entire continent, he would leave it to his child. Of course, he had to have a child first. His situation was special. Whether he could give birth will need to be proven through practice. On the way, he took out a high-level pill and threw it to the black-feathered thunder eagle. Black hair, this is a soul transformation pill. Take it and eat it. Ascend as soon as possible. To be my mount, soul transformation is the minimum requirement. Black hair was Song Shi's nickname for the black-feathered thunder eagle. The latter was named after the color of his feathers. When it was given the soul transformation pill, it felt as if it had suddenly struck lottery. Soul transformation pills. Just from the name, one could tell that they were used to help nascent soul realm soul transformation cultivators. There were probably not many similar pills in this world. It was stunned for a moment before it reacted. It hurriedly took the pill and said respectfully and gratefully, "Thank you, Master." It was already qualified to reach the soul transformation realm. With the help of this pill, even if it was not guaranteed, as long as nothing unexpected happened, breaking through would be a matter of course. After putting away the pill, it was in a good mood. The lightning around its body lit up and it accelerated towards the imperial city. Song Shi's expression was calm. He did not care about the soul transformation pill at all, even though this pill could make all the nascent soul cultivators on the continent go crazy. He did not keep it for himself. He had already understood most of the secrets of the soul transformation realm. He did not need such an external object. Even if he ate it with his foundation, this thing was not enough to even fill the gaps in his teeth. My body has long reached the soul transformation realm. My nomological power and soul strength are still a little lacking. I can only break through when I reach a perfect state. Song Shi sensed his situation. In fact, his dharmic powers and spirit were far stronger than those of the same level, but his corporeal body was stronger. This caused his dharmic powers and spirit to still have room for improvement at the nascent soul realm. The awkward thing was that his physique was still improving. It was probably very difficult to ensure that his essence, ki, and spirit were of the same level. He entered a state of cultivation, and the black fur felt like it was carrying a huge fireball. It would not be an exaggeration to say that it was the sun. Black hair roughly understood why this master said that soul transformation was the minimum standard. Just the normal fluctuations of nomological power emitted by cultivation made him feel immense pressure. He had to resist with all his might to not be injured. Emperor Qian flew on a dragon boat. He looked at the phenomenon of Song Shi's cultivation and was rather speechless. How many cultivation techniques has this person cultivated? Why do I feel the fluctuations of the circulation of several cultivation techniques? He did not know that Song Shi was not afraid of death. All kinds of cultivation techniques were circulating in his body at the same time, but he was completely fine. Even if something happened, he was not afraid. The journey was silent. The group quickly arrived outside the imperial city. Before they arrived completely, they could see a layer of dark clouds shrouding the sky above the imperial city. An unholy and violent aura assaulted their faces. It's actually already so serious. The imperial city has become a demon city. Emperor Qian's expression darkened. Song Shi opened his eyes. A small sun condensed in his palm and he casually threw it at the demonic cloud. The power of extreme yang instantly evaporated a large number of demonic clouds with unholy aura. Brilliant light broke through the darkness and illuminated the city ahead. Roar, roar, die! The sounds of fighting and the low growls of wild beasts could be heard. At this moment, the imperial city was in a mess. Between the broken buildings, people with dark faces and red eyes were fighting each other like crazy. The scene was extremely bloody.